Hi, slightly some technical issues on this session. I guess it is sorted out right now. I guess everyone are able to see my screen. So this is the high-tech scam session 2, where I'll be uh, giving you the insights of the ransomware, how the ransomware works, and what are the things, and that's how the, this session is all about. So recent poll on ransomware in the UK. So I have taken in UK because the major of the ransomware is happening and it is being taken there in UK. Right. So about 44 percentage of the businesses infected and 60% had backups. 65% paid the ransom. Average ransom sum is it's 540 British pounds, and loss of business productivity comes on top, exceeding ransom. So this is the major important thing. And after the UK, next stands is the India, right? So that we need to keep that in mind. So ransomware is designed for direct revenue generation, right? I guess how many of you know this or not? So the most four prevalent direct revenue generating risks. So one is the misleading application. So I told you earlier in the last session for the email scam. So you might be getting some applications for your lottery or for your jobs where you might be told to pay something. So these all kinds of things are known as the ransomware, right? Next is the rogue or fake antivirus. So I suggest everyone to use the paid antivirus, because even I was a person who was using the antivirus, the free version of the antivirus earlier times. But on the later stage, what happened is it I started to realize that so this will not work at all at one point of time, because you might be using a free version of antivirus, but you might be ending up yourself in giving the entire world all your data in respect of your personal data or your bank data and everything, right? So that is very important. Always have the paid antivirus and a good antivirus which will give you the better outcome, and it will safeguard your entire system, right? Next is the locker ransomware, and this locks out of your browser or device. So literally that is being done. And the latest one is the crypto ransomware. So this crypto ransomware evolved after the cryptocurrencies. Okay, where you'd be told to transfer some they'll be sending you a Bitcoin address, and you'll be told to pay the money in the Bitcoins, right? So that's how it does. And for your information, people, Bitcoin currencies are literally costlier right now. A single Bitcoin costs you some few lakhs at least right now. So if you are in a trap like the crypto ransomware, you will be paying a hefty amount to that particular ID, and please never do that, right? And this is a direct revenue generation malware, which I told you earlier, went through four major pivot points in the past decade. So these are the pivot points which I've shown you there in the slide. So each of these pivots indicates a shift from either one type of malware to the another, ultimately leading to a ransomware. So that's how this thing is in evolved. Right. This evolution of ransomware has been greatly influenced by range of developments in technology. So that's how the evolution have taken place, and like any real life ecosystem, this threat has evolved and adapted to its surroundings to survive and even thrive. Right. Though this ransomware is a kind of a evolution kind of an example, but it is not kind of a Darwinian style evolution at work, right? So that you should keep in mind, and always go for the safer ones and not for the other kind of applications as well, right? So the first thing that you need to keep in mind is you should be keep yourself away from the misleading applications. So these are very important. So some applications like privacy components, so these are some certain applications which will give you the utmost belief that your system will be safe and secure. Not like that, right? So only it is known to you, you just start using it, or if it is not known to you, don't use it. So they may be telling you that there is a file restore can be done, or your PC utilities pro, and all these things it will be manipulated in your mind in such a way that So you start believing things, and you just going on with the entire thing, whichever is going to affect your system. So next comes your rogue or fake antivirus. So what is this rogue or fake antivirus? So even I can create an antivirus in the name of my name, and I can sell it in the market. But it will not be an antivirus kind of a thing where I'll be sending you certain viruses into your system in such a way that virus, worms, or trojans which will come and infect your system. It will take all your data. Right. So that's how these systems are being defined. So these are rogue or fake antiviruses which come in different names, and there are certain market people who are still there in the rogue and fake antivirus who are literally branded, but also they are at some point of time they act as a fake antivirus as well, because most of the antivirus companies sustain in such a way that they create the virus and they create the antivirus for that thing also, right? So as of my concern, I could suggest you the best antivirus to be used is the Norton antivirus, because I've been using it for all my server systems and even for my desktop, laptop, and PCs and everything. I find quite good. It's been quite long. For 8 years, I've been using since it was in Symantec, and the merger has happened, and later on it went on also. Right. So I would better suggest you to go on with only this particular kind of thing. Right. Right. Next. Yes. So you might see all kind of these kind of things also. I guess it reveals what this thing is. So next we come for the Android, right? So for Android, it is similar kind of a thing, but it is slightly different. So it has its own, since Android has its own ecosystem where Android doesn't need an antivirus by itself, right? And even iOS also don't need an antivirus by itself, because both things are entirely different. Okay. So this is very, very important that you don't download antivirus for your Android system, or even for your Mac OS and everything, because it has its own different kind of a framework and an ecosystem. By downloading an antivirus, you are just leading yourself into trouble where all your data literally gets right. And that is the first kind of thing. And next is the browser or locker ransomware. The browser or locker ransomware is another one kind of a thing where the ransomware is running from your browser alone. So the thing, when you use the browser, it starts running from your browser, and by this way all the ransomware is being working on. So ransomware, by the literal term, is something like where your data is being taken and your money is being looted by the internet. So that is what is known as ransomware. But it can be of any sort of thing. Maybe you could have paid for them, or you could have clicked a key for them, and by you could have clicked a button in such a way that it pays the money which they ask for, something like that. So these are the kind of ransomware, and the ransomware is one such thing. So in terms of ransom amounts, locker ransom pushed up the benchmark forward to fake antivirus and misleading applications, right? Because the fake antivirus and the misleading applications were the earlier ones, though they were the pioneers in the ransomware. But later on, what happened is the hackers or the ransomware architects, what they developed is the people have become cautioned in such a way that they started sending some ads or pop-ups in the web browser itself. So whenever you browse any website, you might be getting some pop-ups and ads. So these pop-ups and ads will literally infect your system through your browser in such a way that you get attacked with all the in your entire computer, and with all the data exposed into the internet, right? So that is very, very important. And this ransomware, locker ransomware, is the other one. So it is refined. It went from just reporting non-existent errors to actually beginning to introduce errors and problems, right? So there happened to be one situation where there might be no problems in your system, but it will actually create the problem, and it will tell you that so there is some problem in your system, right? So eventually it dropped any pretense of being a helpful tool to just displaying a blatant request for payment to restore access to your computer. So that's how it does, right? So this is because in the early days, attackers tricked victims into downloading fake tools to fix computer issues. So as I told you earlier, the misleading applications or the antivirus. So earlier times it was told to download it, but later on what happened is people became cautious in such a way that the hackers also become cautious in such a way that they just give you the pop-ups, right? So today ransomware can be installed without any user interaction through drive by downloads, right? So that's how these things have happened, and the evolution has taken place. So we should be in a very cautious way because the locker ransomware creators still continue to use social engineering techniques to convince users to pay the ransomware, right? So the social engineering techniques is a technique which I'll come back in the slide in the later part. It is a way of manipulating your mind in such a way that you believe that has happened, right? They typically claim that the user had broken the law by downloading copyrighted material such as pirated music and everything. So that is very important thing that you need to remember and look upon. And the locker ransomware has not left the Android also, and it has gone to the Android system also. So these are the other violations which are mentioned here: the child pornography, zoophilio pornography, child abuse, bulk spamming, and everything. Yes, this is one more ransomware which hit in the 1989. So this is very important. So this you need to literally know about this. So it is a weirdest thing about ransomware. The first ransomware virus predates email, even the internet as we know it. Sorry, and was distributed on the 504 floppy disk via snail mail. So how many of you know that there existed one particular storage device known as the floppy disk? I guess many of you, probably the people who are born later times, would know it or not. Probably I have used this floppy disk at an extensive way. Right? I used to copy all the files which are there in the computer system files, and I've been using it. Right? The contemporary ransomware baits victims using legitimate looking email attachments. Right? So these things are known as somewhat which will show you, which will convince you in such a way that okay, these are literally new and true kind of software systems which are used there in the floppy system. And even I have a floppy system which was affected way back in 2000s, and it is still affected. Probably if it is plugged in right now in any system as of now, so it will get this particular virus which is there might affect the system also right now. I don't know about that, right? Because nowadays the floppy disks are the major ones who transfer the viruses at a higher stage. I'm sorry. So it's time we come to the crypto ransomware, right? So crypto, as I told you, the crypto ransomware is the cryptocurrencies. So this evolved in 2005, and by which the entire ransomware thing went on from the crypto ransomware to the crypto lockers, right? So the bitcoins came into the actions. So you could see the transactions of certain bitcoins here. I'm sorry. Yes. So you could see an ID here, right? So I just pointed out. So this is the Bitcoin ID, which is I'm showing it to you here. So what happens is this Bitcoin ID is placed in certain softwares or certain crypto lockers, something like this, or you might have downloaded certain crypto lockers which is not authenticated, and you could have saved certain bitcoins there in that particular crypto locker, or you could have started mining the cryptocurrencies at some using certain devices. So what happens is at some point of time your system gets infected by this crypto ransomware or the crypto lockers. So immediately the addresses which are passed with your crypto lockers or the cryptocurrencies will get pulled by the crypto lockers, the crypto ransomware. And by the way, you start losing the money from the cryptocurrencies. So that's how the cryptocurrencies literally work on, right? So you need to literally be cautious. I don't know how many of you have been using it right now, the cryptocurrency. Okay, I'm not using it. I was using it at one point of time, but later on I didn't use it because I know the harmful effects of these cryptocurrencies and also the positive effects of the cryptocurrencies. So I thought, okay, this may not be the right time to use it, so I have not used it till now. Right. So next we go on to the 200 crypto ransomware family. So this is a very big collage which I'm showing it to you. So this is a crypto ransomware family where all these things have gone into the crypto ransomware. Right. So I guess you the words might not be visible to you, but I'll let you know. So what are the targets of the crypto ransomware? Right. So the first target is the OS disk. So literally what happens is the C disk, literally they say. So we have a lot of hard drives there in our system and each has its own partition. The C drive is the drive which has the operating system in it. So the first target is the operating system. Next is the local disk. And if at all you have any connected disks such as USB or backup disk, then that is one. And finally, and the next one is the mapped network disk. We could normally say as the NAS, network storages, right? And others the other accessible folders or the shared for local network. So if you're connected in a local network in your through your systems or computers, and that becomes a other accessible folders or shared local network. Then comes your Dropbox. So I guess almost all of you might be using Dropbox or the OneDrive because the OneDrive obviously everyone should be knowing it is the product of Microsoft, and Dropbox is a private concern where they provide you the additional storage for your spaces, right? It's a cloud space. Okay, so I literally told you about the social engineering flow, right? Social engineering. So this is the flow of the social engineering. So this might be bit confusing for you in the initial stage, but it is very important that you should be knowing it. So attacker sends a weaponized email, and your spam filter failed to filter it. Right? It comes into your inbox. So normally what happens is you see a file. It names invoice.doc, but it is a malicious file. Malicious in the sense it is a harmful file, such a way that it will harm your system, right? So your antivirus gets failed, or you are using some sort of free antivirus or third-party antivirus, which is not safe and secure, or which is not trusted as well. And you open the Microsoft, so it enables the macros at the first stage, right? Then it creates its own batch file. It runs a Windows script. It downloads a binary. Your web filter fails. Your antivirus fails. Your run fail exe ransomware started from that point of time. It negotiate encryption, and your web filter again fails because it all communicates with the internet, right? And it goes to the encrypt data and delete shadow copies of backup files whichever you have, and finally a ransom notice displayed. And what happens is unless you pay this amount to that particular ID, your entire files will be deleted or no backup can be retrieved. So that is what is known as the ransomware, the locky ransomware, right? Your entire system will be locked, so no files can be accessed. You will just see only one display there where your entire system is locked. Unless you pay this much amount of this much amount to this particular address, your system will not be unlocked. So this is very important, people. Just keep in mind, because I have seen many people who have become a prey for this particular locky ransomware, and keep in mind that you do not do that, right? So these are some sort of the screenshots which I could show you of how the ransomware could takes place. So when you double click the Word document, so this is how the entire script starts running. And yes, the security overview. Let's go for the state of the nation. Today's approach to IT security is falling behind. So I don't know. It is both the boon and the ban of the IT getting into the higher sectors. So the threats have become more sophisticated, and attacks are more coordinated than defenses. So that is very important that we need to look out, and we literally visualize on, right? Because it is not so so easy that right by this day we could not do it. See, the rise of bring your own device and personal cloud storage are eroding the entire network perimeter. So that is very very important. So always just keep in mind, because this thing will start ruling the human community. The internet and the other machines were created for the convenience of humans, and it should not rule the humans. That is very important, people, because I guess everyone should be everyone have seen the movie Terminator and the Judgment Day, right? So there might be certain situations would come in some point of time in the future, where the machines would start ruling the humans, right? So we probably we cannot allow that as well, because in at that particular point of time, not even the human beings, not even a single organism will survive there in the entire world. So if that happens, right? So as of the social engineering is concerned, as per Albert Einstein, two things are infinite: the universe and human stupidity, right? And I am not so sure about the former. Okay, so that is what the Albert Einstein states. So as of the universe is obviously everyone should be knowing it is infinite. So universe அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு எல்லையே கிடையாது, அதுதான் உண்மை. ஸோ அது எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும், யூனிவர்ஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு திறந்த இது, அதுக்கு எல்லை இல்லாமல் போயிட்டு இருக்கு அப்படிங்கிறது. And as of the human stupidityக்கும் எல்லை இல்லாமல் போயிட்டு இருக்கு, and that is how the evolution of all these AI and everything, so which is out of control at part times, which leads to certain harmful effects as well, right? And yes, social engineering. So this particular social engineering which I told you, so it is where your human mind, right, where someone will hack the human. So that is what is social engineering. So you are manipulated, you are literally trained in such a way that you do that particular thing. You literally, your mind is getting manipulated by someone in such a way that believing that okay, this is the correct thing, right? So one of my favorite is to find a victim, let's say a bank, do the footprinting, and during footprinting find email address of the emails. So these are certain tricks which are the social engineering concepts literally work on, and this how the entire things proceed on influencing the people, right? Is an art of convincing people to reveal confidential information. So that is the exact definition which I could say for social engineering, right? So I may be, I'm a person as well, so I could take you and me as an example in such a way that I literally convince you in revealing your bank details to me in such a way that I take upon your bank details and I use it for the attacking purpose and or something other, something concept of that kind, right? So social engineers depend on the fact the people are unaware of the valuable information and are careless about protecting it. So that is very very important, and these are the social information are very very important that you should always just keep in mind, right? I'll just show you one example of this social engineering kind of a technique. So yes, so this is an email, right? So when you see the email, so this is a kind of a social engineering mail where the email is getting is being treated to be get convinced, right? So the email which is here is the original one, right? This is fake. Okay, but when you see that, you could see the only this particular part and the email which is here are different. So when you see on this, almost all the content and everything are literally the same. Okay, so that's how the social engineering literally work on. Okay, so this is something sort of a the CBD locker which is being done. So your personal files are encrypted by the CTB locker, and unless you pay this amount, so it will not be unlocked. So these are the CTB locker ransomware, other kind of thing, right? So it is a comparison of spam versus exploit kits y email, right? So Angular revenue in a day, when you see as there are 90,000 victims and more than 9,000 served exploits, 40% success rate, and 60% of infections delivered ransomware. So this is a very important thing people to keep in mind, because this particular ransomware literally takes off many people's life, right? Because unknowingly people start doing this, and at some point of time they lose their life as well. So just keep these things in mind, so that you don't end up in getting into trouble or something like that. So understanding vulnerabilities, you should be knowing about the flaws, features, the user error as well, right? So what is the synchronized security things that can be done? So just keep these things in mind, and because these are minimum things that help you to protect your system and you as well, because since you are in the age of internet. So I always tell people that if you are there on the internet, your privacy is lost on the very first day, right? So that is how internet is there, and maybe these things can help you out in keeping your at least the utmost private data private, right? So deploy antivirus protection. It should be always there. Block spams. Use a sandboxing solution. So block risky file extensions like JavaScript and other extensions. Password protect archive files, and use URL filtering. Block access to CNC servers. Use HTTPS filtering, which is mandatory right now, because any website without HTTPS is not validated today. So yes, I'll suggest you to go on with the HTTPS, even if it is in the local network also, because it is very important, right? So HIPS, the host intrusion prevention service, and the other signature-less technologies, right? So activate your client firewalls and use a whitelisting solution. So whitelisting, whitelisting solution is something like where you wanted to access only those files, and that can be whitelisted. The other files or the other browsing experience or the other websites will be blocked from being accessed. So that is the whitelisting solution, right? So these are the methods of reducing the threat. The education, encrypt company data, use security analysis tools. And thank you, people.
என்றன் முன்னை தீயவினை பயன்கள் இன்னும் மூளாதழிந்திடுதல் வேண்டும். இனி என்னை புதிய உயிராக்கி எனக்கேதும் கவலையறச் செய்து மதி தன்னை மிகத் தெளிவு செய்து என்றும் சந்தோஷம் கொண்டிருக்கச் செய்வாய். என்றும் சந்தோஷம் கொண்டிருக்கச் செய்வாய். நான் வீழ்வேன் என நினைத்தாயோ?
Thank you so much, people, for joining me this session. I guess it was useful. I'll be going on with the continuation of the session probably next week also. We'll be going with another high-tech scam. So how it has been processed and what are the high-tech scams that has been taken on. And I'm open for questions. If you have any questions, you can just post on the questions. So I'll be happy to answer the questions, or you can just post your questions there in the YouTube also, where the session has went on live. Thank you, people. I assume there happens to be no questions. So thank you so much for joining with me today. We'll meet you by Tuesday with another one webinar. So until then, bye. Good night.